Hi, welcome to 3 Shots In. I'm Jake.
I'm Jess, and this is episode 30.
It is episode 30. Good job. Good job. I really didn't think you were going to get that.
Thanks.
Today, we're talking about not BAM. I know you thought that's what we'd be talking about, but we're not. It's Bridge.
Yeah, it's Bridge this time.
Mm-hmm.
We said it would be BAM, but psych. It's actually Bridge.
BAM. We're not talking about that.
The next one will be about BAM.
Yeah.
BAM. The next one's BAM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it kabam and the saint is gone?
No, it's kaboom.
Kaboom. Whatever. So that joke's dead. You know what's not dead? The wonderful support that we receive from our patrons.
Thank you, patrons.
You guys are awesome.
You guys are great.
We love you. And you're better than literally anyone else, except for us.
I'm really appreciative of our listeners just for listening. You're helping us so much.
But you could be better. Could be a patron.
You could always
I'm not saying you
be
have to.
more supportive, I
guess. You don't have to be.
No, of course not.
You know, some people are just better than others. That's just the fact. You know, like you're never going to know science like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
No, because you're probably
he's better than you
There's
at science.
Few scientists in this world like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
He's better than you at science.
And most people in this world are more interesting than Neil deGrasse Tyson.
You know what? We're about to get real weird, and we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to get weird today.
This episode is not about Neil deGrasse Tyson.
No, we're bridging the gap between Neil deGrasse Tyson and 3 Shots In right here. That's what we're doing. We're bridging it.
That's the topic.
That's the topic. We had shots today. I've been holding this drink because I want a sip. But we had shots today of
Svedka strawberry pineapple flavored gin, modern style.
And it was not good.
No, not great to take shots of. But then again, I don't know that we've taken shots of many things that we enjoyed outside of rosemary gin. And that was hit or miss depending on the night. And then even Humidor, which is our favorite.
We've never missed with Jägermeister.
I was always missed by Jägermeister.
Always a hit over here.
Never a hit for me.
A hoot and a half.
Never
Jaeger.
hooted. I hooted not even once with Jägermeister.
No, I hooted. You hollered for sure.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah. Did not enjoy. Was not my favorite.
But for drinks, so the last time we recorded with some drinks, we had some hibiscus, like some Mexican aqua fresca fucking shit.
For those of you in California, it's the kind of drink you would find mixed up and then poured for you in a styrofoam to-go cup.
Yeah, they serve it with a ladle.
At Vallarta.
Yeah. Or any of your local mercados. Yeah.
Agua fresca, Jamaica hibiscus. That's Jamaican hibiscus.
Last time we mixed it with vodka, and our first one was in fact mixed with vodka, but this one was mixed with the wonderful Empress gin.
Empress gin, yes. If you're familiar with it, it's probably too expensive for us to be doing this to it. But you know how we do things here. We're super trashy. You really shouldn't be buying us expensive liquors without us drinking it trashily.
That's what we do.
That's really a you problem. It's not our problem.
That's what we do. But yeah, we mix it with some gin and it's way better.
Incredible.
I really enjoy it. I really do like it. So, updates. Do you have anything? I don't got much. I'm just going to start. Baby's upgraded. It's a zesty zucchini now.
Zesty zucchini.
A zesty one. I think that means like it's a girthy zucchini.
Right.
You know, but a zucchini nonetheless.
So basically your baby has a 1-up on you.
My baby is almost as girthy as me. Yeah.
Cool. That's not what I meant. I meant it has a
like 4 times the length. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Oh my God. No. Maybe like 3. Doubled, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't even picture a zucchini right now.
I can.
Because like the zucchinis that I'm thinking of, they're not like that big. But like the picture of the zucchini that they showed when it was like, your baby's a zucchini, and they showed a picture of a zucchini, it was like a really fat zucchini. It was like a fucking eggplant fucking zucchini.
Oh.
You know? Mm-hmm. Thick ass.
Those are the homegrown ones.
Yeah.
The skinny ones are the ones you buy at the grocery store.
Yeah, from like the Walmart or Target.
Yeah.
They come in like bags.
Farmers market zucchinis are thick boys.
Yeah, it's probably like that. That's what my baby's like right now.
Right.
Yeah. What about you? Any updates?
My update, our YouTube channel is starting to look like a real YouTube channel. And not just like a barren wasteland of like one video.
No, there's like multiple things on there. So like check it out.
Like 4 or 5.
I don't even know what our thing is. What is it? YouTube.com/3
shots in.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was easy. YouTube.com/3 shots in.
Yeah. If you go to YouTube first and then search us in the search bar, it will still come up with like 1,000 things before us. Cause we're still, we're tiny little fish swimming in a big old pond. But if that's the way you prefer to do it, you could put 3 shots in Jake oven mitts. And you'll find the video of Jacob pulling pizza out of the oven with his bare hands and then closing the oven with his bare hands.
I had to put the grate back.
You did. And there were towels and oven mitts around you. You just chose to do it with your bare hands.
I didn't need it. I didn't need them.
But you hurt yourself, and then you had to run your hand in the sink.
And it was your fault, if I recall.
Under the faucet. It wasn't my fault. I was filming.
Because you did something.
All I did was film.
No, you must have tightened something.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, nothing about me is tight.
Not after 2 kids. Jessica.
Yeah.
You get to spin the wheel today.
Oh.
I spun it all by myself last time.
Last time?
Fuck you.
Well, what is it?
All right. Remember, bridge is the topic today.
Yeah, I do remember
So we got
that.
a bridge wheel.
Right.
Here we go. You are a drawbridge technician.
Huh.
Keanu has a bus full of children speeding towards your bridge. Anthony Hopkins has a ship full of orphans out on a sightseeing cruise. Neither of them can stop. Whom do you save?
I mean,
One is going over the bridge or one is going under the bridge, and one of them is crashing into the bridge, causing severe damages.
yeah. I feel like if I save Keanu, the ship will still be fine. Anthony Hopkins and the ship is still going to be okay. It's just going to like scrape the top of it, but like the kids will be fine because they're short. Anthony might not be.
Let's just say in this case, they're not, because the mast is full of dynamite.
Why? No, that's not part of the question. That's my answer.
But now it is.
Under those circumstances, that's my answer. What's yours?
Well, I was also going to save Keanu, and that's because like Anthony Hopkins has had his time, you know,
Okay.
he's had his time. You know, he could have tried to bus around some kids a while ago.
Yeah.
Or maybe even shipped some orphans just like he's doing now.
Sure.
But you know, he didn't do that. And now it's Keanu's time to shine
Okay.
and make it over the bridge. Now, mind you, I'm going to make it a little badass. I'm going to wait for Keanu to be on the bridge, and then I go to yoink that drawbridge lever so that it starts lifting, and we'll give those kids a little hop on the bus, you know?
Ruin all their backs and spines for the rest of their lives.
But they would have a blast.
Or be afraid for their lives.
It'd be like that movie. I think, was it Keanu was in that movie?
Speed?
Is it Speed with Sandra Bullock?
He's in a bus, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just operating that bus that just won't stop.
Because it's speeding?
Because it just can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
Was Anthony Hopkins in a movie where he's on a ship with orphans or something?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Anthony chooses some weird movies to make.
He does it.
He did Wolfman.
Really seems like he doesn't say no.
Why did he do Wolfman? You know what I mean?
I thought he did great.
The Right.
He also did great. Like that movie was bad, but it wasn't because of him. The Wolfman, it was bad, but it wasn't because of him. He did beautifully.
Was it because of Benicio del Toro?
Kind of. It kind of was. Yeah.
Or perhaps
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt?
A little bit. Now listen, they're both great actors. That leads me to believe it's the writing and the direction.
But the writers are so good, they deserve raises. That's why they're striking.
Not for the Wolfman.
Hopefully by the time this comes out, they're done striking and I can get back to my shit. Oh my God, that should have been in my update. Yellowstone's coming back. They have an official air date. It's coming back in September.
As long as the strikes are over.
No, I'm pretty sure they said fuck you to the strikes, which is awesome. So,
Well, cool.
all right. Well,
it, yeah.
you know, we're done. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next week, guys.
Yes, the next topic is going to be about. I'm just kidding. This
vaginas or
no,
something.
This was fake.
That was a fake exit. We're not
No,
really done.
obviously the episode's not over.
You're just going to want to turn your TV off or phone off or you take your AirPods out or whatever, because it's Jess is going first today.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, you know, tune out, do what you got to do. Do some dishes,
No, tune in.
you know,
My
maybe
notes are interesting.
vacuum your house, maybe do like a Swiffer wet jet.
Actually, yeah. That's one of my favorite ways to listen to podcasts is while I'm cleaning.
I love to listen to podcasts while I'm playing Diablo.
Same.
And now that I've beat Diablo 4, there's no more story for me.
Yeah.
I can have the volume off and just listen to podcasts while I play, which is exactly what I wanted it for.
See, for me, playing Diablo 3, because that's the last one I played, I was either, you know, rampaging through dungeons, destroying demons to the tune of 80s love ballads or podcasts. It was only those two.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, those are wins right there.
All right. So when I thought of Bridge, I thought of Bridge to Another World.
Interesting. Like the thing. The thing?
The Thing?
Do you remember the thing that was in the Bifrost?
I do remember that, but that There was no bridge.
That was literally a bridge. It was a literal bridge that connected to other worlds.
No, they found it frozen in the ice and it woke up. That's how that movie happens.
You're very wrong. I'm talking about the Bifrost.
The Thing?
No.
The movie The Thing?
No. The Thing was the Bifrost. I was thinking, what was the Thing? I'm not talking about the Thing, the movie. There's no capital T in the Thing. It's a lowercase t. From, like Norse mythology, the Bifrost.
Are you talking about the Marvel universe?
I'm talking about Norse mythology. They have a Bifrost, Jessica. Marvel didn't make it up.
Yeah, I know. But is that the reason you know about it?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I knew about it before.
Uh-huh.
Before, because in 6th grade, we had to choose a mythos. And I chose Nordic.
Mythology.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
no.
Anyway, you're distracting. You just don't want to talk to, huh? You just have a really bad story.
No, I've got a great one. So yeah, yes, a bridge from one world to another. Sure. That's what it made me think of.
Like a Bifrost.
Okay. But not all covered in rainbows.
That Marvel did that. I don't know why they did that. They covered it in rainbows.
They did though. That's when when you first saw it and knew it existed. No, I thought of like portals to parallel universes.
Like a Stargate.
Yeah, like that. But I was like, I don't know. Have there been instances where people suspected that happened in reality?
Probably.
So I did a lot of research. I read a lot of things that were super boring and interesting to me, but would not have translated well here. Then I found one thing and I was like, oh, that's the thing I'm going to talk about.
The movie with Kurt Russell?
No, not that thing.
Oh.
Not the thing, a thing.
Lowercase. See how there's a difference?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
You were saying the, though.
So were you.
You said, what's the thing?
Yeah.
I'm saying
lowercase t's.
Okay.
Not a proper noun. Anyway, I thought you would know this, Miss. I know how to spell.
Anyway, I found a bunch of stories of people who ended up tripping or falling or drove their car through a weird area and ended up finding themselves in a world they did not expect to be.
You're talking about a plane? Like an airplane?
Plane, car, just walking.
No, but are you talking about one?
That's not what I'm talking about, no.
Because I heard this one about the airplane that like was traveling from like, I don't know, Europe to America or some shit.
Okay.
And he went through all these weird lights and shit and was like, what the fuck? Where the fuck am I? Like he thought he was like maybe being abducted by aliens, maybe I'm like hallucinating or whatever. And then he was like, oh, cool. Florida, right where I was going to land.
And he got there like 6 hours early or something.
Yeah, he got there like way too early. They were like, how the fuck did you do that?
Traveled through time, vortex. That was interesting. And I did think about that, but you're not actually traveling to a different world. You're just traveling through time faster.
What if he went into a different dimension where Europe and America are way closer together?
Possibly. Yeah.
And then he came out of it, right? Boom. Florida.
Sure.
You know?
Interesting thought, but that's not what I went with.
Okay. Well, just start. I don't know why you're stalling.
Well, have you ever heard of the back rooms?
No.
Okay. Well, it's a kind of a trend right now in indie video games, horror video games, where you slip and fall unexpectedly, and the jolt of falling sends you into another dimension. So you fall, and there's that kind of like everything goes black because you close your eyes and protect them. And when you open them, you land on the floor in this like endless empty office with all these corridors and cubicles. And you have this strong feeling that something's watching you and following you, but you don't really get to see it often. You just get hints every now and then that it's there.
Okay.
That's a video game. This is kind of like that. A man who has adopted the pseudonym of James Richards. He claimed that he was following his dog through Del Puerto Canyon in California, September 9th, 2009, when he tripped and knocked himself unconscious. Upon waking up, he found himself in a room next to an unrecognizable machine and a man who introduced himself as Jonas. According to the strange man, Jonas, he was on a work-related trip for a dimensional travel agency, interdimensional travel agency.
Okay.
He had used the machine to transport the unconscious Richards to a parallel Earth because he found him unconscious in the middle of a desert and thought, this guy's probably going to die if I leave him here. In this alternate dimension, the Beatles were all still alive and creating music.
Okay.
Richards brought back a souvenir cassette tape entitled Everyday Chemistry, all composed of Beatles songs that were never released in our dimension.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
Has anyone heard it?
I have.
You listened to him?
Every single one.
Does it sound like Beatles? Or it sound like he made it in his garage?
Sounds like the Beatles.
Interesting.
Now, I went to, this is not his real name, admittedly, James Richards.
Yeah, Jimmy Dix.
Yeah, Jimmy Dix. I went to his website, listened to the full album, and then I read his story. And I've got a very shortened version of his story. More to the point, less of the details that I didn't think were necessary.
Sure.
So take that for what you will. And we begin. He says, I live in Livermore, California, but on September 9th, I was driving home from Turlock after visiting a friend for a few days. I had my dog with me, and I didn't have any plans for the day, so I decided to take a drive through a place called Del Puerto Canyon, just west of Turlock. There's a scenic road that is a fun drive and actually goes through to Livermore. I hadn't taken a cruise through it for a while, so I thought I would take this way home. It was about 2 p.m. A ways into the canyon, my dog starts acting like she needs to use the restroom. So I pull over at the first available parking area to the side of the road, and I let her out while I stretch. He goes on to talk about how there were a lot of rabbits in the desert in this area. His dog saw one, began to chase it, and she got a lot of distance on him. So he thought, oh God, she's going to chase this rabbit out into the middle of nowhere. I'm not going to be able to find her again. So he chases the dog while the dog is chasing the rabbit. As he's chasing, he himself gets his foot caught in a rabbit hole, trips, knocks his head into the ground hard enough that he falls unconscious.
Yikes.
Yeah. When he woke up, he was indoors in a room he did not recognize. He had a bandage on his head, and he gets up to look out the window when in comes his dog, happy news, and a man who introduced himself as Jonas. Jonas asked if he was okay. He said yes, and thank you. Then he asked, where am I? Jonas proceeded to explain. About 20 feet from where I found you, he said. I told him that couldn't be possible, because there were no houses within at least 20 miles from where I last remember being. He then told me that what he was going to say next would be very shocking and unbelievable, and that he didn't actually experience it. If he hadn't experienced it himself, then he wouldn't believe it either. He took a look at the machine near the window, and I looked and then looked back at me and said he transported me into a parallel Earth. He said he traveled to our Earth dimension and found me knocked out in the blazing heat with nobody around to help me. Normally, he said, he doesn't take outsiders through a portal, but in my case, he thought it was urgent. Apparently, in his world, a parallel travel machine can be purchased actually quite easily. It's not cheap, but it's pretty popular, even though the machine can be dangerous enough to cause death. In the 1950s, in his dimension, the government was faced with the decision to continue to fund a space program or a parallel dimension program called the ARPD. He then explained that the real danger of using one of the machines was exploring new dimensions. Since there are an infinite amount of Earths in other dimensions, only a small amount have been explored. The problem with exploring unknown dimensions is that the chance you will die once you walk through the portal doorway, there's no telling. He told me that people die from falling if the ground isn't close enough to where the portal opens. They die from drowning. There are some worlds covered in water. It's difficult to open a portal underwater. Sometimes they die from fire, atmospheric issues. He said in order for people to avoid this, they would have to know that there would be similar ground in the dimension they were traveling to. So his government began to research worlds that were safe to transport to, even creating public spots where people could choose a menu of worlds to go that were all safe, vetted. Many of these worlds were lush vegetation worlds that were never ruined by man, only to be invaded by the large, overcrowded population of the traveler's world. He said something about new industries that opened up because of this, one of them being something like dimensional life brokers. These people offered the chance for their customers to live as someone new in an already established similar world that doesn't know of dimensional travel, nor that there are people crossing the dimensional border too. Jonas said he was an explorer for one of the dimensional travel agencies and was looking in new uncharted dimensions when he came upon our Earth. So the two of them begin to discuss the similarities and differences of their two dimensions. Food, culture, TV, that kind of thing.
This sounds like a very, very, very well thought out science fiction novel.
But wouldn't it, if it was true, you know?
I don't know. Anyway.
He says, we also started talking about music, which was an interesting topic because there were many of the same bands between our worlds that existed. including the Beatles. When their name got brought up, Jonas mentioned that his brother just got back from seeing them perform at a concert recently. I gave him a weird look. I said, "You mean they're still together?" He said, "Yeah." I then told him about how they broke up in our world and that John and George had passed away. Apparently in his world, they were all still alive, healthy, and touring. Jonas then had me follow him into another room where he had a bookshelf-looking thing, had some cassette tapes on it. Yes, music, cassette tapes. Apparently CDs never caught on in this world.
Okay.
He said he popped out the first tape and was pulling in the second one when I told him he should record me a copy so that I could take it back with me. I thought it wouldn't be a big deal. The look Jonas gave me when I said this part is the reason I'm remaining anonymous. Not only did it sort of scare me, but it had a very serious, almost creepy look to it, followed by something like, "No, you're not to take anything with you back to your world. No pictures, no souvenirs, no tapes, nothing."
Not a damn thing. Jonas is a fucking buzzkill.
Yeah.
What it sounds like.
Anyway, James stole one of the tapes
Good.
when he wasn't looking.
Yeah, because
He got a phone call at one point and he pocketed one of the tapes. Then when Jonas, after they had dinner, of course, Jonas sent him back to his world. He popped out in the same desert he had fallen in with his dog. He then went home and created a website called thebeatlesneverbroakeup.com. And there he posted the entire album he stole. And you can download it for free even today.
Oh, my phone's recording this stupid thing.
We can play some of the music during the break if you'd like. It's not copyrighted because, you know, the Beatles didn't actually make it in our dimension.
They don't have any like interdimensional lawyers that are going to sue us?
I guess not.
Okay.
They can't. They would have to admit that there is interdimensional travel and they've been exploiting us.
It's only a matter of time, but continue.
That's all I got.
Oh, that's it?
That's the end.
We got to listen to thebeatlesneverbroakeup.com.
Of course we do. I can look it up right now.
Do it.
When I say it sounds like the Beatles, I mean it sounds like my impression of the Beatles even before I heard this album, which was overrated. Fine.
Okay,
but
I've listened to a lot of Beatles.
Yeah.
So I will tell you if it really does sound like the Beatles or like a really shitty Beatles cover band that, you know, Jimmy Dix is a part of and he just wanted to promote it.
Right.
It's very possible. But you know what? We will play that during the break.
Right.
So, you know, sayonara.
We'll see you guys in just a few minutes.
What does sayonara mean?
It means bye in Japanese.
Does it? Is it Japanese? I thought the bye was like oh, I guess I don't know.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's Japanese. I'm not positive.
It's like konnichiwa. Or that's
hello.
Hi. But is it like hi and bye? Kind of like a Hawaiian thing?
I don't think so.
Huh. So right away, this is sketchy. This is a cassette tape with like an index card in it with handwritten songs.
I told you it was a cassette tape, though. I warned you that.
But I thought it would be like a real one. Like someone bought this in a store.
No.
They didn't buy this in a store. They recorded this illegally off of like a stereo.
No one recorded it illegally. Jonas didn't anyway. Jonas said that he got all these extra albums. He'd only purchased Sgt. Pepper, the album. The other albums he had, which were a few, were a girl he dated in college, and she made him a bunch of copies of her albums that she purchased because she really wanted him to like the Beatles. So he kept them as a memento.
So if I click one of these song titles, it'll play it?
Yep.
Okay. We have 4 Guys.
What's the album title again?
Everyday Chemistry. 4 Guys. Talking to Myself. Anybody Else. Sick to Death. Jen. I'm Just Sitting Here. Soldier Boy. Over the Ocean. Days Like These. Saturday Night. Mr. Gator's Swamp Jamboree. That's the one. I've clicked it. Nothing is happening.
Is it playing?
Oh, shit.
I would click a different one. This one, you don't get a lot of vocals to the end.
Okay, we're going to try another one. How about Sick to Death?
Go for it.
Oh, shit, I clicked Jen. Fuck. Oh, shit, I clicked it again.
They all sounded pretty similar to me. It's up to you.
death of seeing things from tight-lipped condescending mamas getting older. I'm sick of...
That is not the Beatles.
Sounds like the Beatles to me.
This is 100% not the Beatles. Oh my God. Okay, Four Guys, right? The number one song on the album. Let's run it.
Well, what did it do to you? You seem
It's
to be
recordings of their fans first.
Really liked it. They were good. They were great guys. It didn't really hit me. And then these people started singing, and I don't know what they do. They just change you. They're not what they used to be. They're just so much better.
Sweet.
They're just like a mess for you is what they seem like. Every little movement's for you and no one else. It seems so personal, but yeah, it's just for everybody.
We were four guys that I met Paul and said, do you want to join the band? And then George joined. And then Ringo joined. We were just a band who made it very, very big, that's all.
Jessica, this isn't the Beatles.
Devil's advocate. If you played Madonna for people who were fans of Madonna in her prime, they would think this is not Madonna. Maybe that's one of their older
So maybe
interdimensional
in
albums.
this other dimension, the Beatles sucked.
Bridge.
Gosh, bridges, you can
Cross them.
walk over them or like drive over them,
You can sail under them.
sail under them. You can fly over them. I'm sure I've flown over a bridge or two.
Probably a bunch of them.
Maybe you're like in a helicopter. You get like a little like special tour of a bridge or something.
Mm-hmm. We have to go over a bridge to get to Fat Dog if
We
we
do.
go the west way.
Yeah, we have to drive over two bridges actually to get there.
Yeah. You know what bridges do? You know the purpose?
Yes.
Okay. Should I not explain? Then you got
They
it.
connect one point to another.
Right. So if we were to take the everyday consumer in need of quality products and we wanted to bridge their needs to something that would fulfill it, you know who I'd call?
Who would you call to bridge the gap between supply and demand, Jess?
Our sponsors. That's right. Tilted Tinker, Woodcraft and Wizardry. We'd like to thank Tilted Tinker, Woodcraft and Wizardry. They are a company that makes woodcraft products.
Like plaques with all sorts of hilarious sayings and coasters with sarcastic twists.
All of that dry humor is mixed in with Dungeons and Dragons accessories like dice towers, dice dungeons, and DM screens.
Everything is made here in the USA.
Yes, a family-owned business. They use American wood in American hands.
Nice.
They personally create all of their merchandise.
Yes, they are close friends of ours, but that's the most that we'll say. It could be anyone, but they're fantastic.
They are fantastic, and it really could be anyone at all. We own many of their products.
That's true. All of them are of great quality.
The greatest. You can visit their website at tiltedtinker.com. Reach out to them at info@tiltedtinker.com. They are Tilted Tinker on all their social medias.
That's Tilted, Tinker. You should go and buy something from their website because they're awesome.
And they love us, just like we love you.
It's summer. It's hot out.
It's sweltering.
You know what helps me when it's hot? Alcohol. Cold beers.
That's what I was gonna say.
Shots.
I was just gonna say the
Ice cold shots
Yeah.
of Jägermeister, probably.
It wouldn't help me, but helping you would make sense.
So many drinks.
Yeah.
They keep me cool when the heat is just blistering my skin.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue that maybe being hydrated would help.
No, it doesn't. I've tried it.
Oh.
It's the drink.
Okay.
The drinks, they really help. The problem is
Yeah.
I don't want a hangover.
Yeah. So hydration would help. But if you're the kind of person like you are,
Right.
maybe you throw on a little patch.
Like a party patch.
Exactly like a party patch. Thank you, Party Patch, for being our affiliates. All you have to do is throw one onto your arm, your leg, wherever you want, really. And it will supplement your body with B vitamins and taurine.
Oh my God. That sounds amazing.
All the wonderful things you need to not have to deal with a hangover the next day.
Where could I buy one?
Partypatch.com. And when you get there, use promo code 3ShotsIn for 10% off your order.
This sounds amazing. I'm going to go right now to partypatch.com and use promo code 3ShotsIn so that I get 10% off of my order. And I'm going to get some party patches right now. Holidays are coming up. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, they're coming fast.
They're fast approaching.
And if you are a gift giver like me, then you want to supply people with an amazing gift.
You know, I just never would have called you a gift giver.
Oh, I don't gift give. I don't gift gifts to horses. You know,
That's not true. Actually, I've gotten many presents.
they say
from you.
don't give a gift horse a mouth.
It's
So I don't. Anyway, if you want to give someone a gift, you know what's the best gift of all? Booze.
booze.
Love it. It's amazing. But those bottles can be pricey. And how do you know what they're going to like? Well, guess what? You don't got to worry about that anymore. Go to 3shotsin.com. You'll find the link to Pour More. This is an exclusive subscription service. You can get a brand new bottle of liquor delivered to your door or to your like fathers or like, I don't know, bosses or like, I don't know, like maybe like your kid's like football coach. 3shotsin.com. Click the link for Pour More
Yes, that will let Pour More know that we sent you.
and subscribe like right now. Hey, did I tell you that Dunkin' Donuts has come out with their very own spiked drinks?
Yes.
They make spiked iced coffee. They make like original
So I don't
caramel,
understand.
vanilla.
Is that, do you buy that there or at the grocery store?
No, you buy it at like the grocery store. I haven't been to Walmart since I heard about it, but I'm gonna go to Walmart soon. And I'm gonna try to get us a pack because, dude, if there's any way to start my day, it's with a Dunkin' spiked coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Drink one on the way to work. Drink one at work.
sure.
My day is way better than it was before.
We'll have a real zippy episode if we're just drinking spiked coffee.
We're probably gonna have a very zippy episode. That'd be fun.
We should do that. Maybe the topic can be like Irish or something. Irish coffees are the whiskey bumped coffees.
I don't think the Irish would respect us drinking our spiked Dunkin'.
Dunkin' Donut cans.
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't, but they don't respect us anyway. So good for you, Ireland.
And potatoes. They made vodka.
Is that the origin of vodka?
It is now.
Because you said it, or
Yeah.
I thought
Because Jessica,
what's
no,
called vodka. I thought the Russians made it.
think about it. Think about it this way. Who is going to stop to Google this?
I mean,
Almost nobody.
most of them.
Almost nobody.
Most of
we
our
can tell them right now. It was Ireland. It was Ireland. I just looked it up. It was Ireland. Ireland invented vodka.
But you didn't. I watched you.
No, they did. I just looked it up.
You didn't even.
This is 100% fact.
But you didn't even pick up your phone.
This is backed by like multiple sources.
What sources?
Multiple.
Name two.
There's too many.
Name only two of them.
Okay, here's one. Here's the other.
You didn't name them.
I'm showing you them.
No, you didn't.
They're right here. Potatoes are from Ireland. Vodka is from potatoes. Therefore, the Irish made vodka. Shania Twain.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Guess who's introducing Shania Twain?
Who?
The 1975.
Cool.
Guess who's introducing the 1975? The real reason why we would go to the Austin City Limits Day 2.
Why? Tenacious D.
Alanis Morissette.
Alanis.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. Performing live again.
incredible.
I love me some Alanis.
My nipples get hard for some Alanis.
My God. She looks exactly like she did like 30 years ago. Some witchcraft.
Nice.
Hey, should we do like some sort of like a PSA or something?
About what?
You know, just we have that friend who's, you know, teetering, you know, like ironically, the bridge, right, between like life and death. Should we do like a PSA? Like, hey man, like you don't need to eat 5 pizzas, you know? Like you don't need to eat 2 bags of burgers from Brahms.
I don't think he does that though.
You know?
Yeah. I think I know who you mean. And he's just not really about that though since the incident.
Oh.
Do you remember he came by here and we had like the sprinklers going last summer? It was hot.
It was hot.
He was just wearing his swim trunks. And then he began to roll down the hill.
Yeah.
The trunks gradually slipped off. The children, the screams.
I still hear those screams when I sleep, when I close my eyes.
I think he does too.
How should we do a PSA then for him? You know, like a podcast intervention.
Yeah.
Or something.
Maybe that's it. An intervention of some kind.
You know what? We should do it next week when we record.
Okay.
We should bring him on and just host an intervention. We can bring, I heard his best friend is like some like toad kind of guy.
A toad
Guy.
Toad kind of guy.
Yeah. Like he's kind of a guy, right?
But he's toad kind.
Yeah. He's a toad. You know, like toads are like always out of breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could bring him on too.
On the verge of croaking. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll bring him on and we could host the intervention for our friend who really needs it.
Yeah. If I recall, he was also here that day on the hill. The hill was too much.
It was too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lyle and Hanso, we love you. We support you. We're here for you. We can't wait to see you next week.
Yeah. And a totally separate topic. They're going to be joining us next week on a very special episode of 3 Shots In, where we will be talking about BAM.
That's when we're going to talk about BAM.
BAM. Stop eating, man. All right. That was the break. It's over. It's all done.
We're broken.
And I'm spinning. What? I read that wrong. Would you rather cross over an alligator-infested river on an old rope bridge or an old rotted wood bridge?
The rope one.
You'd rather cross on the rope bridge?
It said the wood was rotted. The rope is just old.
But they're both old.
But the rope's not rotted. The wood is.
Yeah, you're a fool.
How?
I go on the rotted old wood bridge because the wood bridge also has rope, Jess.
Which is also old.
Right.
Okay.
But I got multiple chances. Every time I step, if that wood just gives, I can still hold on to rope. You're putting all your faith on the rope, and that's it.
But my rope bridge, the whole bridge is made of rope. Your wood bridge is mostly rotted wood and like rope for like railings on the side.
Well, you got like steps made of rope, some shit.
Yeah, it's
So
one
you
of
just have
those
to like
that's
grab and you like shimmy.
It's like V-shaped.
You like shimmy with the rope.
It's V-shaped. It's a bunch of rope. You walk down the middle. You hold onto the sides. It's all knotted. That's a rope bridge.
But it's old. So what if it gives?
There's just a shit ton of rope though for me to grab.
So that you can be holding onto rope while you're in alligator-infested waters.
I won't fall in.
You won't.
It's not rotted. The wood bridge is though.
Just the wood. And not
It's a
all,
wood- it's a wood
not
bridge.
all of the wood.
You're assuming there's rope.
Of course, you can't just build a bridge out of wood alone.
Yeah, you can.
What?
There are bridges made of just wood.
Well, I would trust that over a rope.
Fine. I guess it's your turn now
It is.
for your less interesting story, your far less interesting story.
It's super interesting.
I bet your story doesn't even have one piece of evidence from an other dimension, a parallel universe.
Maybe my whole story is from another universe,
Probably not,
but maybe it is.
but probably not.
Could be, though.
It isn't.
Could be.
I don't think it is.
And just stumbled its way into ours. Anyway, are you ready? Mm-hmm. So Bridget Harris.
Is
That's how we got Bridge.
Bridget?
Bridget Harris.
So you cheated.
I didn't cheat.
Does Bridget end up on a bridge
I'm sure she has been.
in her life,
Uh-huh.
but not in the story?
No, not in the story.
You're a cheater then?
I'm not a cheater. Anyway, Bridget was born June 6th of 1981 in Staten Island, New York. Her parents were Liberian immigrants, and they came to America where they had their daughter. Now, her mother was not about this shit, so she left when Bridget was about 2 years old.
Oh no. No.
Yeah, she left. She went back to Liberia. And so Bridget had to live with her father, Eric Goodridge, in Long Island. But eventually her father was also like, yeah, this sucks. And he also moved back to Liberia, leaving Bridget to live with local relatives.
What?
Yes. Also, forgot to mention, Bridget has a sister also doing the same thing.
Left behind by her parents.
Yeah, they left them here for, to have a better life in America or something. I don't know.
A life they didn't like. They just decided.
Yeah, they said they thought it sucked, so they left.
Okay.
But their daughters are probably fine.
All right.
Anyway, so Bridget reports that she was physically abused by her grandmother.
Oh.
She was beat a little bit. And she was sexually abused by her cousin.
Oh.
Not great. So during this time when, she was living with relatives, Bridget's parents had obviously both moved back to Liberia. Maybe they got back together. Maybe they didn't. The notes were the sources were unclear on that.
Okay.
If they weren't back together, then they at least hang out together or something.
In Liberia.
Okay. It was unclear. So for the ease of the story, we're just going to say they're together.
Okay.
So when Bridget was about 16, 17, she traveled to Liberia to visit her parents, where she confronted her mother with some shit.
About time.
Bridget and her sister were both sexually abused by their father.
Oh, no.
That's right.
In Liberia when they went to visit at that time?
No, when they were children in America.
Oh, no.
Before he moved back to Liberia. Bridget's mother and her father both denied that this ever happened, and they claimed that Bridget was simply mentally ill. Now, Bridget obviously came back after being done visiting. She came back to Staten Island, and she moved out of her family's house when she was 17, wanted nothing to do with them.
Makes sense to me.
Eventually, had a life of, work and whatnot. Eventually ended up working as a security guard at the JFK International Airport. Okay. Now, after many years of being estranged from their father, Bridget and her sister Carlene, their father had reached out to them, and he said that he wanted to talk to them. So Bridget and Carlene agreed. The father, Eric, he went to Carlene's house. And when Bridget arrived, she saw that one of her nieces, Carlene's daughters, was sitting on her father's lap. Very quickly, Bridget begins arguing with Carlene. This is not a great scenario for her. Father is gross.
What they both experienced, yeah.
So Eric told his daughters that he wanted to let them know, just inform them, that he would be taking his granddaughters back to Liberia, whether they agreed or not.
Interesting.
Yeah, remember different cultures.
Right. So how did that play out exactly?
Well, they seemed to be defeated with that.
Okay.
And Bridget asked her father to come to her apartment so that she could talk to him. She wanted to talk to him out of taking her nieces taking them to Liberia because, they were probably going to be abused
by him.
So very quickly they begin arguing. Mm-hmm. This was never a good idea.
Right.
Bridget needed the arguments to end, so she handcuffed Eric to a chair. And
that'll do it.
She gagged him. She put a towel in his mouth so that he would, stop doing all of that.
Sure.
And then she strangled him.
Oh.
And she killed him.
Oh. Okay.
Yes. After he was dead, or so investigators believe. This part is unclear.
Okay.
Maybe he was alive when this happened. Maybe he was dead. Bridget whipped out her handy-dandy scalpel, and she cut off Eric's penis.
Well, that's the most threatening part.
Yes.
So?
She went to the local boardwalk and tossed his penis beneath it.
Beneath the boardwalk?
Beneath the boardwalk.
Into the sand?
Probably.
Or the water?
Maybe one or the other. It was unclear. I'm sure if you were familiar with the boardwalk, it was like the river or something boardwalk or something like that. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter to me. It's underneath some woods. There's a useless wood underneath some wood.
Sure.
Then Bridget calls 911. She told police that her father was in fact dead in her apartment. And she then told them that she was going to go and turn herself in.
Okay.
So first she calls her sister, and her sister said okay, don't do that. Don't turn yourself in. Come to my house now. So she does.
Okay.
She goes to her sister's house. Now, when Bridget arrived, apparently she was still gripping the scalpel and was kind of in shock.
I mean, I understand. Not a great thing to see right away.
Right. Yes. So Carlene convinced Bridget that it was probably in her best interest to go to the hospital. And that's what she did. Bridget checked herself into the Richmond University Medical Center psychiatric ward.
Smart.
And she was there
Good idea.
for about a little over 2 weeks.
Okay. It's a good idea.
While she was there, she met with a defense attorney that Carlene had hired for Bridget. And they had to explain, Carlene did, to the attorney that in some, not all, some African cultures, specifically the one that they were a part of in Liberia, fathers are, quote, entitled to taking their daughter's virginity. Yeah.
Yuck.
I know. Now, after being discharged from the psych ward, Bridget was promptly charged and arrested. And she was charged with second-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter.
Okay.
I don't know how you can do both, but she was charged with both.
Okay.
Okay. They held her on Rikers Island. Okay, that's the little island prison, kind of like Alcatraz, but less spooky.
Right. So first degree is planning the murder ahead of time. Right. Mm-hmm. Second degree is murder with the intent of murder. The intent
to murder, but kind of like
spur of the moment.
Like she didn't plan to kill him when she invited him over.
Okay.
But once he got there and they started arguing, then she planned to kill him. Then she intended to kill him.
Okay. And then the manslaughter is because they couldn't prove they did charge her with second degree murder.
Manslaughter would have been like, oh, I didn't mean to kill him. I just meant to cut his penis off.
I just wanted to cut his penis off.
Something like that. But he did die of strangulation and not blood loss.
Right.
So I don't know. Anyway, this whole thing went to trial in September of 2009. Okay.
Yeah.
Happened about 2 years earlier in September
2007
of 2007. So Bridget actually testified in her own trial, and she stated that she did not plan on killing her father. There was no premeditation. There was none of that. She wanted to prevent him from taking his granddaughters to Liberia and, more likely than not, molesting them.
Or raping them and taking their virginity, which is apparently a cultural norm
in their area. Culture. I don't think we can just blanket Liberia in that, but we can.
This is her statement, though.
Assume that where she lives in Liberia, the fathers are apparently entitled.
If it's true, that's what she was trying to prevent.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So pretty bad. But September 30th, 2009, the jury found Bridget guilty.
I would too.
Of second-degree manslaughter.
Oh.
They brought those charges way down.
Way down.
Okay. Second-degree manslaughter, which I don't know what that charge exactly means in New York.
I wish we could look it up.
We probably can. Yeah. And maybe we'll do that and, whatever.
Yeah.
Or you can probably pull it up on the iPad if we take a pause here, but we'll do that right after.
Yeah.
The judge sentenced her to the maximum 5 to 15 years in prison. But
you said the maximum, so 15?
No, the maximum was 5 to 15.
Okay.
Like, I think it's like you're expected to get at 5 unless, you're whatever. And I don't really know how it works. She was sentenced to that 5 to 15 years in prison.
I mean, honestly, 15 years to ensure your children and sister's children don't get fucked by your dad.
She didn't have children. It was her nieces.
Your sister's children don't get fucked by your dad. Sounds like an easy trade.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, after only 3 years, she was released on parole. After that point, I could not find what happened to her or where she ended up. This was back in 2012 when she got out. Mm-hmm. Could not find what happened to her. I read that she had shown interest in joining like some nonprofit that was all about like ending that sort of culture tradition.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Sounds good to me.
But maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Could not find anything about her. I probably spent about 30 minutes trying to find it with her date of birth and her name and all that. So maybe she's changed some things, for her own.
I hope she has
protection and whatnot. I hope she's doing well in the world because she did the world a justice.
Good for you, honey.
On that day. Mm-hmm. And I had talked about it during the live that it would be, this would cause some sort of moral dilemma for some.
Sure.
I have no qualms.
Because you can't know all of the details, the context in its entirety, that kind of thing. Sure, you can't.
Like, motherfucker had it coming, and I'm glad she did it.
But if
But
everything
also-
she and her sister said was true, I'm on board.
Yeah, but
Makes
also
sense.
second-degree manslaughter. That's not what that
It
was.
didn't sound like
That's not what that was.
didn't sound like that's what that was.
It didn't sound like that at all.
But that's just it. It sounded like she didn't really care either way. Sentence her to 15 years. That it's fine with her. Sounds like.
Yep, she did what had to be done. Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome.
Great.
And I don't think very many people can say that they have scalpeled their own father's penis off.
Nope. But she can.
She can.
Yep.
And then she tossed it under the boardwalk.
Good for you, Bridget.
I don't know why that was a part of like the story that I was reading, but it was in every one. I read like 3 different articles.
They all made a point
All
to say
said-
the penis is under the board.
It's under the boardwalk. Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe the cops got it and they like reported that, or maybe they were just like, fuck it. It's in a trash down there anyway.
It makes it sound like if they made a point to say it, that like someone eventually discovered it.
Or they're like, that's why you shouldn't go into the boardwalk, kids. You don't know how many penises are down there. Okay. We need to look up the charges
Second degree manslaughter
in New York.
in New York.
See what that means. We'll mute this real quick and then pop back in.
Okay. According to the New York Penal Code section 125.15, a person may be found guilty of the crime of manslaughter in the second degree when he or she recklessly causes the death of another person. It sounds like the intention was not to kill, is how that sounds to me. It does go further, though. Manslaughter in the second degree is a Class C felony, which carries a minimum sentence of 1 to 3 years in prison and a maximum of 5 to 15. Very often, people accused of murder in the second degree will attempt to have their charges dropped to the lesser Class C felony of manslaughter in the second, for the reason that the sentences are lower. Manslaughter in the second degree occurs when a person continues with a reckless act that they are aware of committing, and they consciously disregard the potentially fatal risks involved to others. The risk must be of the type that any reasonable person would not ignore.
Okay. So the handcuffing and the gagging was not in any form leading to the manslaughter. The specific thing that I read said that she throttled him to death.
Right.
Which I had to Google that. I didn't know what that meant. Everything basically said strangled, but maybe it's like a different form
Like I said, though,
of strangling.
the context, if she gave her testimony, that if it was just the two of them in her house or apartment.
I watched her thing of
Yeah.
her like basically explaining it, and she had said something like she just wanted to remove his weapon from him.
So it potentially could be that when she was, odds are, whoever was prosecuting her directly asked, did you mean to strangle him to death? If the jury voted that she was guilty of manslaughter and not murder, it's possible that the strangling wasn't meant to kill him. It was meant to knock him out. But she was enraged.
She just
and
wanted to cut his dick off.
She did it for too long and he died.
Yeah. Oops.
Whoopsies.
Good riddance. Fucker.
Yeah,
All right, Jess, spin the final wheel, please.
I will do that.
You have been punched
Bye.
by Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, God.
Uh-huh.
That's a...
And he punched you in the face. The bridge of your nose is shattered.
Whoa.
Which celebrity's nose would you replace yours with? You get to choose. You're going to have facial reconstruction surgery and get a brand new nose. But for some reason, you got to pick from a catalog of celebrity noses.
Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez.
I feel like her face is a real round face like mine. I think her nose would be very similar to mine.
You think it would accommodate your face?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you go with like, I just assume some person of Jewish descent, perhaps?
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, I guess. But you know, I'm just gonna pull one out of the dark, right? When I am, less, fat, I look similar enough to, Jake Gyllenhaal. Mm-hmm. I could pass as his first cousin or something.
Sure.
And, I think I'm going to choose Jake Gyllenhaal's nose as my nose.
I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
I want to see the nose.
I'm scared now that you're looking it up because I don't know what his nose is like, actually. I'm just assuming that it's like, a pretty nice nose. But I guess, it could be a bad nose.
He's a handsome guy. It's probably not.
I don't know. We'll see. What do you got?
It's a regular nose.
Let's see it.
It's a very normal nose. Most of these images are from the front. We're going to find a profile here in a second.
Okay. You're going to find a profile.
Yeah. We're just going to see if we can find one. Oh, that's close.
But yeah, specifically bearded Gyllenhaal. Because he's got like one eye that closes more when he smiles.
It's definitely smaller than yours. It's very moderate.
I don't know. It's a huge ass nose. I don't think I want that one anymore. Maybe I'll go with like Penelope Cruz or something.
Penelope Cruz. Nice.
No, I'll do a Gyllenhaal. A Gyllenhaal. Get it?
I don't.
You inhale through your nose. And his name is Gyllenhaal.
That's not a joke just because it sounds like a word.
It's kind of like a pun. Okay. It's kind of like what it is.
But is it one? Not really.
But it is.
It's not.
Well, you know what? We'll let our listeners decide. Email us, fanmail@threeshotsin.com. You can tell us whether it is a pun or not. Anyway, if you liked what you heard, please like, rate, subscribe, and share this podcast. You can share this podcast with anyone who likes noses. Maybe share with someone who's had a nose job or two. Maybe you shared with anyone who loves Keanu or loves Anthony Hopkins. We got Lego Hannibal Lecter right here in front of us.
Yeah, that's a new gift from my husband.
A new addition.
For our studio. It's adorable.
Visit our website, threeshotsin.com. You'll find so many awesome links, so many awesome, great, wonderful links that you should just like throw all your money at. Oh, yeah. One is a PayPal, single time donation.
Also, a link to our Patreon. We offer you a lot of bang for your buck there. Check it out. You'll also find a bunch of links to our affiliates. I say a bunch. It's 2.
You'll find links to partypatch.com. You'll find links to Pour More. And I heard that there's going to be another link up there for Tilted Tinker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard someone's in the works getting that set up.
Whoa.
So that's pretty cool.
Tilted Tinker. I mean, you can always find them. You can. We say it every single episode. TiltedTinker.com. They're incredible.
They're great. They do some great work. And they're totally not murderers. Jessica, next topic. You already know.
Bam.
Bam. Bam is the next
we said
topic.
It was going to be the topic. This time it's not. It's not the next one.
It's not. That's the bam. You know what I mean? That's the little pizzazz.
Bam. Keeping you on your toes.
Boom.
Today we talked about bridges. Next time we're talking about bam.
Bam. Hit you with that razzle dazzle. You thought it was going to be today. It's not. It's next time. And joining us, our very special guests, Hanzo and Lyle.
Yep.
That's right. Hanzo is a fan favorite. Lyle is a guy. And they'll both be here to join us for our show. Well, not here, but you know what I mean?
They'll call in.
Yeah, they'll like call in on their like landlines, or Lyle will use a landline probably. I don't think his fingers can operate a cell phone.
The buttons are real small.
Yeah, they're really small, and they're just his fingers. They're so slippery because he's just covered in mayonnaise all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
But Hanzo, the phone's real high.
The phone's high up.
He does have a cell phone, I think.
I don't know. He probably broke that.
Maybe he was so focused on climbing a hill, it fell out of his like back pocket or something.
It probably did. He doesn't have the biggest pockets. You know, he's a little guy.
There are very small pockets.
Yeah.
You need a real small phone to make sure it doesn't slip out.
Yeah. Scary.
Okay.
It's a scary world out there for these gentlemen.
Be grateful. Be grateful for every little blessing you have, everybody. Mm-hmm. And we'll see you again next time.
We will. Thank you for joining. And, bye.
Later.
They also got sheep and like no predators on their land.
They do have sheep. That's true.
Other than like the IRA.
That is a kind of predator if you're British.
Not that we like or dislike the IRA, just in case someone's listening.
Yeah, no, IRA.
We have no qualms. We live in France. Attack them to get us, obviously.
If you're angered and you are part of the IRA, see France.
See France for details.